Hi, my name is Efe, and as you can see, I love manga because I'm releasing this video to you for free when it used to cost money. But there's a disclaimer. First, this video was a part of our version 3 update, and if you watched this video, then you saw that we are on version 4. But what does that mean? It means that some of the resources listed at the end of the video are no longer available because they have been updated. I apologize. Second, as I just mentioned, update version 4 is now available for the mangadiet.com, which came with our new battle system. This is by far not just the easiest way to make manga friends, but also to find activities to do with them. So if you haven't seen it yet, go to the mangadiet.com right now and try it out for free. It's insane. Now without further ado, let's get into the video that you came here to see. Enjoy.
Hi, my name is Efe, and as you can see, I love manga because I'm about to present using manga to discover your career path. Now, this is something I have a lot of experience with personally, so I hope that by you watching this presentation, you will also learn a lot about not just manga that you can read, but also how you can find your career path, which is very important, especially if you're younger, like around high school age, but also people in their 20s would benefit from this as well. I'm still in my 20s. This benefits me a lot still, so let's get into it. So first, we're going to cover what you'll learn today by watching this video. So right now, we're at the top here, what this video includes. Next up, we have how to find your career path, 2 different ways, which way is more effective, my personal story, what manga to read. This is the longest part. This might be a long video. Based off of that what manga to read part, you will understand why, how to apply what you read, and where to find more content like this. So yes, you can always know what's going on based off of this. Basically, think of this like a table of contents, right? It lets you know where we're at right now and what we have left. So very exciting, very happy. Let's get into it. So first, we're going to talk about the regular way to find a career. You can go to a career fair or word of mouth. Now, obviously, there are a couple other ways you can find a career. Maybe you were watching something on TV or, it got recommended to you. But most of the time, all of them require you to get information from someone else, right? Because let's say that you wanted to become a doctor, right? People don't just wake up and they're like, I want to become a doctor. That doesn't actually happen. It's usually because they saw it somewhere, they heard about it somewhere. You have to get the information to know what's available to you, right? And a lot of people can choose their careers better when they have a lot of information from it. That's why they go to things like career fairs, so they can talk to people at the tables, ask them questions, blah, blah. Oh, I'm studying, I don't even know, computer science, right? What kind of jobs can I get, blah, blah. That's the kind of stuff that you can only get from talking to other people, right? You go online, you go look up like job forums. You're like, what kind of jobs can I get with this degree? That's stuff that I was doing when I was in college, right? Or from word of mouth, right? You have someone else that is already in that job field, like, oh, I'm a mechanic, blah, blah. You should come and work at my shop with me. These are the main 2 ways to find careers, right? And they all require you to get information from another person. Now, what is the manga way to find a career? You read it. So you find a manga, you read it, and then you live it, okay? This gives you in-depth knowledge on what to expect before trying it out. Now, this is why I think the manga way is more effective, right? I think both ways, right? The regular way and the manga way are good, but if you have to get a large amount of information first before you make a decision on something, it makes a lot more sense for you to get information from something that you are interested in already. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I might not be willing to talk to someone at a career fair. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if I'm looking for a job, even if I want a career, whatnot, I might not have the interest to socialize with other people, right? But if I couldn't you just Google it? You sure could. You sure could. But the best thing, sorry, the best part about the manga way is that it makes any career look like fun. That is why it is more effective. Because if something looks fun, if it looks easy, you are more likely to take action and do it. Do you understand? So you have to read first and then live it, okay? I'm going to tell you a personal story now about my own career journey with manga. So, first, it started with me reading Silver Spoon. I read this around like 2021, I think. It was around 2021 or 2022, maybe. Um, I read Silver Spoon, and this is when I learned that. So the main character here, right? What's his name? Yugo Hachiken, right? He was struggling to figure out what he wanted to do with his life. Like, he went to an agriculture school, right? And this is amazing manga. I give this a 10 out of 10. But he went to an agriculture school, right? And everyone was figuring out what they wanted to do with their lives. And a lot of people were having an easier time choosing because they grew up doing agriculture-y stuff. Like, they had farms, like their family owned barns and stuff. And they were like, yeah, I'm just going to do this when I graduate. Some people had to drop out of school. Man, it was crazy. But he didn't have that, right? He went to this agriculture school for damn near no reason, right? And he kind of stood out there, and he was just a hard worker, right? But by the end, spoiler alert, well, yeah, by the end, he ended up starting a business, okay? That's not even really a spoiler. I don't even know why I said that. But he ended up starting a business. That was when I realized, oh, so some people who can't find a traditional career path end up starting businesses. I was like, oh, that's something to think about. I did nothing with that information, by the way. This is a realistic personal story, right? When I knew that you would start a business if you didn't know what other career path to choose, I didn't do anything with that information when I got it. I was just like, okay, good to know, and I moved on with my life. But this is important, as you will see, because the next manga that I read that was monumental to my journey was Bakuman, okay? So I already loved manga more than everything by this point, right? Like, I loved manga more than everything when I was in like high school, right? So this is way before I even read Bakuman, because I read Bakuman maybe a year after this. I think it was a year after I read Silver Spoon. But Bakuman was the first time that I ever properly, like, that was, no, not even properly, in general, that's the first time I ever learned about the inside of the manga industry. Like, even though I was just a consumer of reading manga, right? I never thought about, okay, why don't I just actually make this for real, for real? I never thought about that until I read Bakuman. I read this and I was like, wow, there's so much. This is just so cool. Like, this is the coolest thing in the fucking world. Like, that's what I was feeling when I was reading it. And it's so long and it's so good. And again, if you haven't read this, I don't know why I said that, but if you haven't read this and you like manga, you actually must read this. Like, it's actually a requirement just to keep going. I'm not even gonna lie. But once I read this, that was when I determined, okay, no matter what happens, I'm gonna make this manga thing work. So that is why Bakuman was monumental, because now I know about business, now I know about manga, and the next thing I need to know about was Japanese. So why is JoJo on the screen when I'm talking about Japanese? Is because around this time, so way after Bakuman, right, I started hearing about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure from my brother and my sister. I have 2 sisters and 1 brother, right? But 2 of my siblings, they were talking about JoJo a lot. I was like, I'm gonna read a couple chapters, blah blah blah. But when I heard the voice, like when I heard the voice lines of JoJo, like while they were watching it in the house, right? I was like, is that Japanese? This sounds so cool. Like, you feel me? So then I eventually ended up watching the anime, and just hearing Japanese was like, I have to learn this. And guess what? So JoJo made Japanese sound so cool to me that I was like, I'm just gonna learn Japanese. It wasn't just because of JoJo, I will say. It was also because around this time as well, like I was collecting so much manga. Like I was spending so much on manga, and I was like, well, this is kind of getting a little bit outrageous, you know, how much I'm spending on manga. Is there a cheaper way to get manga? And a person told me, the girl that I was with at the time, actually, she was like, why don't you just learn Japanese so that you can read manga? And I was like, this is just perfect. I already was liking Japanese a lot from hearing JoJo. I already want to get manga, so I'm just gonna learn Japanese. So me learning Japanese plus loving manga plus being interested in business is how ManDIET was born. Whoop de doo. So because after this led to me going to Japan, and then I went to Japan, and that's when I got the idea for ManDIET. So I'm telling you guys, literally, I live everything that I tell you in these videos that you watch that are from me. These are things that I have personally lived myself. Okay, so boom, you can see that these 3 manga turned into this. So yes, reading manga does actually help you if you know how to do it. So now this is the biggest part of the video, manga that you should read. Now, we already know there is a shit ton of manga in the world, right? Even stuff that's translated to English we're at the point now where there's just so many titles that it's hard to know where to even start, especially if you're trying to, you're watching this video, you're like, how can I use this to help me find my career path? There are so many things out there that are good to read, and there are also so much more that is bad. So the criteria that you should use when it comes to choosing manga that you should read when it comes to, trying to find your career is it has to have detailed realism of the activity. For example, like if you want to become a surgeon, you have to read a manga that is about surgery, right? But it's also extremely detailed, which is very hard to find. But I do have, you're about to see. And it also has to make it look fun. That's the most important part. Like I said, if it looks fun, you are more... Woo! Sorry, I'm getting passionate. What was I saying? If it looks fun, you are more likely to do it, right? And you are going to see what I mean right now, because now, this is the biggest part of the video. Make sure you are paying attention and screenshotting or writing it down or doing whatever you have to do to get these manga recommendations, because I'm going to kind of go through them as kind of fast because there's just so many. But I'm about to show you right now different careers and then different manga that you can read if you are interested in that career. Even if you're not interested in that career, you probably should check out the manga if you are interested in it in general, because like I said, if it looks fun, you are more likely to do it. And you might not, you never know, you might find something that you weren't even thinking about. So let's get started. If you want to become a boxer, you can read Hajime no Ippo or Ashita no Joe, Fighting for Tomorrow, right? These are both insanely popular manga. Tomorrow's Joe is finished. Hajime no Ippo is still going, but it's super long. And this one is actually what I would recommend personally. I'm not even gonna, if I don't put no bias into it, but this John is amazing. I'm not gonna lie. Manga recommendations about manga. So specifically about making manga, blah, blah, right? We have Bakuman and Look Back. Obviously, Look Back is a lot shorter. It's a one-shot, so it's literally 1 chapter long. It's not short, but it is 1 chapter. Like, if you don't know what a one-shot is, it's basically just an entire manga story encapsulated into 1 chapter. So this is much shorter than Bakuman, but Bakuman is much more detailed. I would definitely read them both. If you are new to reading manga, I would not recommend you reading Bakuman first, unless you just love manga. I would recommend this because it's easier to digest. But if you want to learn about manga, you have to read them both. I'm not even going to lie to you. Next up, manga recommendations about soccer. We have Aoashi and Blue Lock. These both make soccer look fun, especially Blue Lock. But this is more gamified. This is not realistic. This just makes it look fun. This is more realistic about soccer, right? But this one looks fun. Like I said, you want both ideally in the same thing. Like with Bakuman, it's extremely detailed and it makes it look fun, for me at least. But in this instance, actually both of them make it look fun. This one's just more detailed. This one is more, gamified. So yeah, if you like soccer, check these out. Or if you want to, check these out. Baseball. We've got Ace of the Diamond and Cross Game. Dancing. We've got Welcome to the Ballroom. This one I don't know too much about, to be honest, but I do know how popular it is. I have heard about it, like, through the grapevine, but I haven't, took the time out to read it myself. But I do know it is about dancing, and I do know it is detailed. Basketball. We have Kuroko's Basketball, Slam Dunk, and Real. Now, Slam Dunk is the most popular one here, but Kuroko's Basketball is the one that I read first. So Another thing that I will say, like, this is gonna go in a different video probably, which might go on the YouTube channel, but you can also just use manga just to find new hobbies, right? Because I will tell you this, guys, Kuroko's basketball. This is how I learned how to play basketball. I'm not joking to you. I didn't know anything about basketball, and this I read and watched this like a few years ago, right? So I'm 25 right now. I was in my 20s when I started KNB, bruh. And this is what translated to kind of the state that I'm in now, which is like recovering from an injury in my knees because I was dunking the basketball so much. I became super athletic because I was watching this, reading this, and Haikyuu as well. But I'm telling you, a manga can have a nice influence on you, especially if it's what you consume the most, which is what I do. It is very easy for it to have an influence on you. So do not discount any of the titles on here. Definitely check them out. These are all extremely popular. This one's the oldest. No, Slam Dunk is the oldest. My bad. My apologies. But Slam Dunk is the most popular. And Takehiko Inoue is a great artist. So definitely check out all of these. If I had to tell you which one to start with, I would probably say KNB because it's the most fun looking, if you ask me. Real is about wheelchair basketball, so this is probably not going to be the case. Like, that's probably not realistic for you watching the video, but it might be. So it's just a good story though, so I would check that out. Slam Dunk is also kind of not realistic. They're all kind of exaggerated in a way. No, Real is not that exaggerated. These two are exaggerated, but it looks fun. So if you want to play basketball and you were like, what do I do, blah, 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 check these out. Next up, we have volleyball. You can probably guess what's going to be here. It's Haikyuu. Haikyuu is about volleyball. It's pretty detailed. It kind of drops off a little bit as you get far into it, so it's not even at the beginning. You'll get enough benefit reading it before it drops off in like detail and whatnot. But yeah, this is good. And honestly, truth be told, the manga is fine, but the anime experience is kind of better for Haikyuu because it's a fast-paced, volleyball is a fast-paced sport. So is basketball, right? But volleyball kind of really benefits from you seeing a lot of real-time movements. So I would say if you want to read the manga, go ahead. Like I said, I'm telling you about manga recommendations, but the anime is also very good. Next up, football. We have iShield 21. This is extremely popular. This is about football. Check it out. And the art is insane. Yusuke Murata. Insane. Cooking. We have, Oishinbo and Food Wars, right? Now, this is they're both just about cooking. This one's is way more exaggerated. And I will say a warning, if you are a bit younger, it is a little bit vulgar, but at the end of the day, it does make cooking look fun, and it does make you hungry. I'm even hungry looking at this plate right here, I'm not gonna lie. But this one is also just about cooking, but it's pretty much just about cooking. So check out both of them, but this one, I'd give it to this to start with, honestly, if you're interested in cooking, because it just makes it look fun, which is way more important than the detail, I would say personally. Bartender. If you're interested in like mixing drinks, whatnot, this is literally called Bartender. It's basically about this dude who he just talks to people that come into the bar. He makes drinks and stuff like that. So that's kind of what you do if you're a bartender. Being a bartender is a profession. Yes, you can make drinks. You have to get good at it, whatnot. There's a lot of things that go into it. But, I knew some people that have bartended before. So, yeah, very interesting. Check it out.
If you are enjoying this video so far, then you would most likely benefit from having friends who are just like you, manga fans. The easiest way to do that is to go to the mangadiet.com and register for free. Not only do you get access to Pair, where you find people who share your manga interest, but you also get access to Battle, which is where you can find activities to do with those people and be a part of our manga community. Our paid membership gives you so many more benefits that you can find out about by going to our shop page and then clicking ManDIET membership. I personally use the platform myself, so if you want to hang out with people like me, then go to the mangadiet.com once again and check it out. Now let's get back to your video.
If you want to be an artist, okay, this covers a lot of ground. Being an artist, if you want to be a painter, a sculptor, blah blah, these are what I recommend. Blank Blank Canvas, my so-called artist journey, and Blue Period. Blue Period's ongoing still. I'm not even caught up with the recent chapters just because I kind of don't like reading ongoing series anyways, because there's just so many series that I want to read and I want to check stuff off the list. But it's about him going to art school, and if you haven't been to art school, it kind of gives you a good idea of what you can potentially expect by going to an art college, right? And I think it's a good thing to definitely read, because if you are making that decision whether or not to go to college, right, at any point in your life, it would be nice to know what you can expect by going to an art one, especially if you want to be an artist, right? And I think there's a lot of overlap in the manga community with, people that want to draw stuff, creatives, right? Because it's like a art-based medium. So Blue Period I definitely recommend. And this is also about art journey. Like, this is basically Akiko Higashimura. This is her, like, how do I say it? Like, her bibliography? How do I say it? Her life story. This I read this whole thing, right? It's her life story. She's basically explaining her artist journey, right? Her so-called artist journey, right? And she goes through the periods of her life that led up to her professional career. So this manga is literally about what actually happened in her life. So definitely realistic. This is realistic too. So which one makes it look more fun to be an artist? Probably Blue Period. But yeah. Army. If you're thinking about joining the army, how do you make the army look fun? Well, if you read Kingdom, all you need is Kill or Attack on Titan. I think these are all exaggerations, right? Like, this is sci-fi. This is what would I say this? Not quite medieval times. Not even medieval times, but it's like historical. There we go. And this is obviously not real. Attack on Titan, right? So when it comes to joining the army, in terms of realism, the closest one to realism is this, because we don't fight with swords anymore. We don't use spears and stuff. In this one, it's actually more army, like, it's actually more about the army and things like that. And I'd probably recommend this one first because it's a one shot as well. It's longer than like Look Back, for example, but this one is this looks like the army. That's what I'm gonna say. These ones I put on the list simply because they are about army war type stuff, right? They're about war. You might not go into the army to fight wars, right? You might need to be a surgeon, or I don't know what else they do in the army. I'm sorry. But in terms of just thinking about the army military stuff, right? These are the recommendations that I have. Baking. We have Yakitate Japan, right? This one's about baking. He goes to a baking school. That's all I can say, like, without spoiling. Next up, we have vehicles. Forgot to capitalize that V. Goodness. We have Initial D and Capeta, right? Initial D is more popular, way more popular, and but they're both detailed and about cars, so it kind of doesn't really matter which one you choose. I think this one's more fun, but this one is, yeah, I'd say this is probably more detailed. The car drawings I like better in Initial D, so yeah, check these out if you are interested in vehicles. Like, maybe you want to become a mechanic, maybe you want to work with cars, whatever, check it out. Animation. We have Animeta and Beat in Motion. Now, both of these are outstanding. This one, I'm going to tell you right now, to save you trouble and save you pain, this is on hiatus, so I don't know when/if it's going to return, but there is enough content out there for it so far that you could be like, okay, this is good. I know a lot. I know not a lot, but I know a decent amount about animation now that maybe I'll try and work on a personal project, blah, blah. Beat in Motion, like, if you read both of these, bruh, you will know enough about animation to decide, like, man, I might just try it, I might just make me a little something, because Beat in Motion, I gave this, I think, a 9, if not a 10, right? But that's because the main character girl, she reminds me of someone that I actually knew, right? And I think that's what also gave it a boosted score. But it's about animation and music, and like, oh, that's a good point. As we keep going, there's gonna be some manga on here that you will see more than once. So that is definitely high like value, because if you read it, that means you can learn about a lot of different professions, and that gives you, a lot of things that you can potentially try out. So Beat in Motion is one of those things because it talks about and shows different career professions. So definitely check out Beat in Motion. I would say this one's easier. No, they're both easy to read. Which one makes it look more fun? Definitely Beat in Motion. Animeta is extremely detailed about animation, so that's what you should choose between the two. Yeah. Office worker. If you want to be an office worker, Sweat and Soap. Now, why is there a warning on the screen, FA? That's because this is a little bit not safe for work. Now, it's not explicit to the point that you're, basically reading something like, pornography, but it is, it's a little bit seductive, let's say, as you can see from the cover here. But it does basically show you, as someone who's worked in an office, this is kind of what it be like. That's what I'm going to say. So, there's some exaggeration. No, I'm not even gonna lie. There's not any exaggeration in this. There's not any exaggeration. Obviously I've never worked. So the main character is here, right? They work in a company that produces soap, right? So obviously I've never worked inside of a soap company before, but I've worked in other companies, and this is kind of office politics, right? This is kind of stuff that you can expect. So I would definitely check this out, even if you're a guy. I know sometimes when I started reading manga, like when I was a lot younger, I was like, man, I'm not going to read like stuff made for girls and stuff, like shoujo, for example. But you can learn from anything. You have to be open to everything if you want to grow. So definitely check this out. Highly recommend. My personal score on this was a 9 out of 10, so keep that in mind. Doctor. We've got Blackjack and Team Medical Dragon Iryu. I don't even know how to say it. It's like Iryuu. But they're both detailed and about becoming a doctor. This dude's a surgeon actually, but this one is very old, so keep that in mind. But I think it's longer. Yeah, definitely longer than Medical Dragon. But they're both about doctors. So check this out. I don't think I put this on there. No, obviously I didn't because I can't see it. But Monster by Naoki Urasawa. The main character, he's a surgeon. It's kind of similar, but it's not detailed enough, and it does not make being a doctor or a surgeon look fun. So that's why it's not on the list. But Monster is also kind of like you'll see someone be a doctor in there. So check it out if you want to. But yeah, tennis. We have the Prince of Tennis and Happy. Again, Naoki Urasawa, who I just mentioned. But this is his manga about her. She plays tennis. And the Prince of Tennis, this one's longer. Makes it look fun. This is the number one recommendation if you want to play tennis. You want to, even as just a hobby, check out Prince of Tennis first, I would say. Then Happy if you want to. Lawyer. We have Ace Attorney, Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. Objection. Yes. There's not much to say about this. You solve cases. There's going to be some, like this one's also going to be inside of another recommendation as we get further in this video. But yeah, check it out. Police Officer. We have Ouroboros and Monster. I mentioned Monster because it's kind of policey. That's all I'm gonna say, bruh. I don't like giving out spoilers, but it's kind of policey. And Ouroboros is about the police. So I read this when I was in high school, right? And I still remember what took place in it. So this was a not monumental, but I liked it enough that I still remember it all these years later and was able to put it on this list about being a police officer. So I would probably check out this first before Monster, definitely, especially if you're interested in being a police officer. Next up, being a teacher. GTO, Assassination Classroom. They're both about teachers. Which one makes it look more fun? Probably this one, simply because it's more realistic than this. This is not realistic whatsoever. This is more realistic than this, but there are not a lot, but there are exaggerations in this that you will probably not experience if you are a teacher, probably. So keep that in mind. But they're both amazing. This one's hilarious. This one's hilarious. Also sad. You know, they're both kind of sad, but yeah, definitely check them both out. I'm starting to get tired with all these recommendations, boy. I'm gonna go a little quicker. If you want to design games, new game. If you want to be a gamer, right? I'm talking about like esports, live streamer, etc. What makes games look more fun? We've got High Score Girl and Batum. These are about playing games. This one's arcade style games. This one's a real life type of video game type. Why is there no Sword Art Online on here? Sword Art Online kind of goes away from it being a game, and it kind of makes you not feel like they're playing a game. You know, it's kind of like, okay, this is a story type of thing. Hopefully that makes sense. You can definitely check it out. Sword Art Online's manga is not even like a real manga, so that's kind of also why I didn't put it on here. So, but you can check it out if you want. You can watch the anime of Sword Art Online, you know. But all I know is personally, when I watched Sword Art Online when I was young, I didn't feel like I'm lying. When I watched Sword Art Online when I was a kid, bruh, I was like, put me in the game, bruh. But that didn't last for long. But these ones are strictly about gaming, so check these out. Agriculture. So if you want to work with if you want to work on a farm, do agriculture things and stuff. Silver Spoon. I mentioned this earlier, but this is 100% about agriculture, so definitely check it out. Detailed. You will learn a lot. Also about business. Music. We have Oshinoko, Beat Motion, Your Lie in April. As I said before, if you see something on the list more than once, that means you can learn about multiple careers by reading it. So definitely check out Beat in Motion, because I showed that one earlier. Your Lie in April, about music. Oshinoko is about, she's an idol, right? And they sing songs. So it's about music. Astronauts. We have Space Brothers. These are about two brothers trying to get into space. If you want to be a firefighter, well, literally fight fires. Fire Force. Fire Force, yeah. I don't really like Fire Force that much. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I do know it's popular. I do know a lot of people do like it. I did enjoy Soul Eater though, but they're firefighters, so check it out, because it's definitely an exaggeration, but it does look fun, and who knows, it could get you into fighting fires or saving lives. Speaking of saving things, if you want to work with animals, check out Inu Baka. Sounds like an ad now, but she's crazy for dogs, as you can see. I didn't read this one. I'm not gonna lie, I did not read this because I'm not really into dogs like that. But I know how popular it is because I've heard about this like 6-7 times now at this point. Even though it's very old, but she works with dogs. So if you like animals, check this out. I'm actually probably gonna recommend this personally to one of my friends that I know wants to be a veterinarian. Yeah, I'm gonna send this to her later. That was off topic. Let's keep going. Voice acting. Oshinoko in Seiyu Academy. I think this is in Japanese it's like Seiyuka, I think, but you probably don't know Japanese, so look up voiceover, Seiyu Academy, voice acting. Bakuman's also kind of about voice acting, but it's not enough that I would put it in a recommendation for this. There is not enough. I'd also probably put Beat in Motion on here because, you know, the music-y stuff kind of... Nah, it's probably good enough. This one's more just about voice acting. Oshinoko, as you can see, since we saw it on here more than once, there's going to be other things that it's about, so keep that in mind. Shogi, we have Hikaru no Go. Hikaru no Go. This is just about shogi. Art is amazing. Check it out. Fashion. We have My Dress Up Darling and Paradise Kiss. These are both about making clothes. And in fashion, I would check both of these out. Even if you're a man, even if you're a dude, even if you don't typically read stuff like this, check these out because they are about fashion. and I recommend them, especially like which one? I would say this one. This one has art books, right? This artist Ayazawa, she has art books, and if you've heard of Nana, which is also by her, she has a fashion sense that definitely you can tell that she knows fashion. So I highly recommend it. I'm not gonna lie to you. Anime for My Dress Up Darling is pretty good too. Okay, I'm running out of breath. Ice skating. We have Medalist. This is still ongoing. It's a newer title. Still ongoing, but it's very popular. It's rising in the ranks even. People love Medalist, so check it out. Photography. We have Lock On. This is a short series. It's not a one-shot, but it is about photography. This is probably not the type of photography that you will be doing though. Like if you become a photographer, you'll probably mostly be doing stuff like at events, weddings, etc. But in terms of exploring, right? That's what this is all about, is exploring different career options, seeing what's available, seeing what is possible, right? This is a good manga for that. It's about photography. Check it out. If you want to be a detective, investigator, etc., FBI, whatever, 3 recommendations for you. Case Closed. That's number 1 pick. Tomodachi Game and Until Your Bones Rot. Okay. Why did I put these 2 on here? Because they are not specifically about solving cases. No, this one is. This one's about solving cases. But Case Closed is its entire premise, right? Detective work. This is number 1 recommendation. Tomodachi Game makes it look fun. Until Your Bones Rot is just a great story. It's just amazing. I'm not gonna lie. Like I've got it. I'm looking at it right now on my shelf. I'm just like, bruh. Like, if you want to be a detective, if you like solving things, if you like, seeing how that kind of stuff unfolds, check these 3 out. And also, I didn't put it on here, but Ace Attorney, which I mentioned earlier. Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, definitely check that out as well. Performing, if you want to perform, like on stage, etc. Oshi no Ko, Akane Banashi, Shoha Shoten, Kageki Shoujo, right? Kageki Shoujo is about acting. This one's about comedy. This one's about it's kind of like acting. It's kind of hard to explain. It's a, what's it called? Rakuragi or Rakukagi or whatever is basically when you act. It's basically like acting as multiple people on like a stage performance. Kind of hard to explain when I'm out of breath. But Oshi no Ko has acting in it as well. I've put Oshi no Ko on here so far. This is probably the third. I think this is the 3rd time that you've seen it. So like I said, I recommend it if you want to learn about these careers because it goes in depth enough on them. So yeah. And this one's in depth. These are in depth as well. And which one makes it look fun? Everything but Oshi no Ko. Yes. I'm gonna take a drink of water, bro. Excuse my manners. I hope you're finding this useful so far. Hope that you've gotten decent recommendations. Let's keep going. Interpreter. So this can be like, if you want to translate, right? If you want to become a translator, just helping people communicate. Whoa, did you say communicate, F.A.? I did. Komi can't communicate. That's number 1 recommendation. A silent voice. That's number 2. These are about people communicating who struggle to communicate, right? If you are going to become an interpreter, a translator, if you're going to work in a communicative field, right? You have to know how to help people who struggle with communication. That's why I put both of these here on the list. They're both amazing, both 10 out of 10. Check them both out. This one has a movie. This one is much longer. Makes it look fun. Komi can't communicate. Detailed. Both of them. So I'd give it over to Komi Can't Communicate for number 1, even though it's much, much longer. Calligraphy. Barakamon, naturally. If you haven't heard of it, he does calligraphy. You're welcome. Check it out. If you don't know even if you don't even know what calligraphy is, check it out. So you can learn, because you might be interested. Librarian. We have Library Wars, Love and War, and Magus of the Library. These are both about library stuff. Like, you work in a library, right? Being a librarian is a career. Lots of people do it. Realistic. None of them. None of them are quite realistic. But in terms of making library look fun, working in a library, I'd give it to Library Wars. Influencer. So I'm talking about YouTuber, streamer, vlogger, etc. Oshinoko. Why Oshinoko? Because this character right here, her name is Mem. She's a main character, so you will see her often. She is an influencer, so you will get to see inner workings of an influencer in this story, in this manga. So I highly recommend it if you are curious about being an influencer and you want to read the manga. Outdoor life. I think this is the last one here on the list. If you want to do stuff that's outdoor, check out Laid Back Camp or Yuru Camp and The Climber. Okay, these are both about outdoor life. Detailed. I damn near would give it to Laid Back Camp. Even though this is more realistic, Climber, I would say the details about outdoor life, yeah. Laid Back Camp. It's a chill little thing. And Laid Back Camp makes it look more fun 100% more than The Climber. Climber is a great story though, so I would recommend it. So boom, this is the last part, and this is the most important part of this lesson, is how you can apply this to real life. Okay? First you read it, then you live it. Then you live it. You have to live it. If you read a manga and you're like, this is so cool, I wonder if I could do this. Figure it out. Live it. Just live it. If you are reading a manga and you're like, maybe I could do this too, try it out. Do what I did. That is why I'm here right now. You're listening to this video right now because I've lived it. I didn't read it and then I was like, okay, I'm just going to go and read something else. No, read something. I was like, this is so cool. I'm so interested. And I lived it. It's your turn. Live it. That's how you apply it to real life. It's not difficult. If you have high interest for something, you will do it. Keep that in mind. If someone has high interest, they will show it. So show it to yourself. If you read something you like, if you find something you're interested in, if it's a career, whatever, live it. Try it out. Thank you so much for watching. We are finally done. It's been about 40 minutes. If you watched this whole thing without stopping, good job. Hopefully this was beneficial to you. Check out the life lessons playlist because it has live lessons on it related to manga. ManRec if you want other manga recommendations, like custom tailored to you. And then the manga related content folder, which is where you're watching this video from. So you might as well check it out. I'm just lying. You're watching this video from the life lessons folder. I'm not even going to cut that. I'm going to keep it in. But if you want to learn more life lessons, check out that folder. Manga related content. If you want to see more manga content other than our YouTube, then we have ManRec if you want to find Manga Recommendations. So yep, that about wraps it up. Thank you guys so much for watching. Go to the mangadiet.com. Well, you're already there. Why'd I even say that? Because I thought this was a YouTube video. This is how YouTubing works. You just kind of you feel me? So yeah, appreciate you getting to the end of this video. Appreciate you being a subscriber and watching this video. Yeah, make sure you're part of our Discord community. If you're not, go to the mangadiet.com. Click that Discord icon in the bottom right of the screen, and we will see you there. Bye.